Before we jump in, a quick heads up. The opinions and stories shared by my guest are theirs, not necessarily mine. I'm a beauty enthusiast who loves bringing you new voices and ideas, but all thoughts, advice, and information you hear on the Beauty Biz Show podcast belong solely to the guest. And remember, nothing on this show is meant to replace professional or legal guidance. Now, let's dive into the good stuff. Welcome to the Beauty Biz Show. I'm your host, Lori Crete, a career-loving esthetician and beauty entrepreneur on a mission to empower fellow estheticians. If you are a solo or small business owning esthetician and you enjoy this podcast and curious about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com for mentorship and essential business growth tools. If you're looking to boost your retail sales and elevate client care, check out my line of luxury spa wraps and headbands at spastar.net. Now, join me as I bring you inspirational messages from beauty industry experts and practical tips to help you achieve beauty biz success. Get ready for some serious beauty biz entertainment. Hey everybody, welcome to the Beauty Biz Show. I'm your host, Lori Crete, and today I'm here with Steve Marchese, who is the founder of LightStim. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
I feel like this has been long overdue. I actually have a little something here that I wanted to share with you as we get started today. So you've been in my world for a long time. I was gifted this, I think.
Oh, wow. LightStim for wrinkles.
LightStim, it says for wrinkles. I was a keynote speaker at the Long Beach show, I think it was Long Beach back in 2016. And your company sent all the speakers. This is the one beauty tool I keep on my nightstand.
So that was like a huge thing in the industry because the FDA in all their history had only given approval for periorbital wrinkles, and when we sent our application in for clearance for periorbital wrinkles, the FDA came back to us and they go like, what's up with everybody's face? Like their wrinkles on their whole faces are being reduced. And I go, well, we put them in a clinical study. We told them that this is going to reduce their wrinkles and that they were to use it here. Do you think they're not going to use it on their whole face? Of course they are. And they said, we've never even offered it to a company before, but if you do another study, we'll actually consider giving you full face clearance for full face wrinkles, which we were the first company to ever do that. We did 2 clinical studies for the FDA to get that. And pretty interesting.
Well, it's my guilty pleasure. I watch bad or maybe good reality TV and I use this, but I've used it for a bunch of different things. And I don't know, I'm not the FDA by any means, but I had dental surgery and ongoing pain. And I would use this every single night. It's very soothing to the tissue, or I don't know, inflammation, I guess.
So it's got the same wavelengths. It's got 3 of the 4 same wavelengths as our device that's FDA cleared for pain. So, and the one that's different would enable that device in your hands to go deeper. And so it's not going deeper. So something like going through a cheek to get to the gums is like nothing. It's like no big deal. Like people go, oh, you have to use like a completely clear serum if you're going to use a serum. No, it doesn't. It actually almost doesn't matter if it's opaque. Like you put that light up there, open your mouth, and you'll see it coming right through.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then I also got injections and the doctor hit a vein and I looked, Jay, we were going on vacation. You've actually been on Jay's podcast before. he said, "Oh my gosh, Lori, it looks like I beat you. The bruise fell down my whole face. And I used this a few nights in a row. And I think it helped with that too."
Oh yeah. We have a lot of derms that actually, like, if they bruise somebody, they'll loan them one of those or one of our LightStim for pain handhelds, which has now been replaced by what's called the recovery loop. But and customer will take it home, use it for 2 days maybe, and get rid of the bruise, and then bring it back to them. And
Well, I just want to personally thank you for sending me this gift.
no problem. I kind of remember when we did that, because it was one of the few shows in Long Beach that I attended, actually. I usually go to the big shows like in Vegas or New York, and get a kick out of that.
I know they're fun, especially when they have them in a place like that, because it's all encompassing of a vacation and a little bit of a work trip. But with that being said, I use LightStim in my treatment room. I've been an esthetician, I like to say a career loving esthetician for 25 years, but I'm going to be honest with you, it's still a bit of a mystery to me. And not just me. I know there are a lot of estheticians that feel that way. So can I start out by, this morning, I paneled some estheticians that are in my world with questions for you. Can we start there? And then we'll dive
Sure.
a little bit into the history of your company, how you started it, and what you see happening in the industry, and maybe what's ahead for us. So how's that
Sure.
sound? Here's some questions. Okay, let me put my glasses on. I have them right here in my notes. So question number one, I've always wondered how to tell a good quality LED. Are the bulbs better for professional use, or is it the saturation of the light? I notice some home masks, the lights are spaced farther apart. And Ashley was asking that question.
So there's a number of things that you should look for in a good device. It should not be flexible, because if it's flexible, there's two problems. And the first one is that although the printed circuit board itself is flexible, the LEDs that are soldered to it, the solder itself is not flexible. So they get shorts all the time because you flex the panel and the solder joint cracks, and now you no longer have a connection on your LED. And so they're constant repair issues, basically. The other reason is they don't work very well at all, because you can't use an LED bulb. Because if you were to have LED bulbs on a panel and then you pushed it this way instead of the other way, if you twist it one way, it would actually, bulbs would come together and break. And one of the manufacturers that's in the marketplace right now, their instruction manual actually says, do not bend this too far because you may get a shock. It's like that. I can't believe the FDA actually let that one go through. But so they can't use bulbs, so they have to use what's called a surface mount LED, and which is basically a little computer chip. And you can't really get those in emitting light in emitting light in an angle about 15 to 45 degrees, which is what you need to get some penetration. They only come basically in 180 degrees. And so it has no ability, it's got no intensity, no ability to penetrate, so they don't work real well. Like that same company that I was thinking of, it was such a weak device that the FDA mandated it to have a minimum of a 30-minute treatment. So like that, I've never even heard of the FDA doing that before. It's like, so you don't want something that's flexible. You should, other than LightStim, you should only get something that's got one wavelength, because when our company started in February of 2000, the two inventors that came up with the technology. First off, if you Google what happens when you use multiple wavelengths simultaneously, multiple wavelengths of light, it'll tell you that they cancel one another out. And to a degree, to different, from a little bit to a lot. Okay. So our inventors actually broke through that scientific envelope. And I won't say that they were Einstein. They kind of stumbled and face planted into it. and so we have a patent on multi-wave technology, and our device was the first one on the market with multiple wavelengths, because everybody knew that that's a problem to use multiple wavelengths, and so they didn't. They used one wavelength. And when our device came out, because our inventors broke through that envelope, we were not subject to the laws of science that say when you use multiple wavelengths simultaneously, they cancel one another out. And our devices worked unbelievably good. And we started taking over the market. And everybody saw that, so they just went, "Oh, we're going to use multiple wavelengths too," except they didn't know the secret, and that really isn't even in our patents on multiple wavelengths. And so they did multiple wavelengths, which made their devices work worse and continued to boost us in the professional marketplace, basically. So try to find a device that has one wavelength instead of multiple wavelengths. Don't do anything with a device that has any green LED in it, because there's no known proven benefits to green LED.
Gosh, I just keep reading green is the most anti-aging light now. So you're saying
zero, like no clinical studies. They mostly say that it's great for hyperpigmentation.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Nothing's great for hyperpigmentation. It doesn't matter if it's amber, green, red, or infrared. Any of those wavelengths, or a combination of any of them, will work on one person, and then they won't work on the next 3. And then they'll work on 4 people in a row, and they won't work on 20 in a row after that. No rhyme or reason for it. So what we've seen work best for hyperpigmentation is actually amber and red, coupled with the esthetician's products that she knows will help reduce inflammation. And all of you guys out there have, your favorite skincare products, and a lot of them work really, really well. And when you combine it with LED, it just increases the efficacy of those products.
And okay, so that's my question. Why and how? If you could give me a simple answer on that, like why and how? Is it the combination? Is it the product penetration that it enables?
It is. It's if you've got a good device, it's helping the product to penetrate, and so it increases its efficacy that way. But it's also, if it's got a little warmth to it, it increases blood circulation. So now you get that moving all around there. It's not just like localized to one spot or something like that, because of the increased blood circulation opens up all your pores and helps, again, better penetration.
Okay. I have noticed with a blue light that it seems to stop oozing after post-extraction type, within the facial. Is that just the heat?
You mean like the bacteria stops oozing out?
Well, post-extraction. So if you're doing extractions in a facial, after you get the pus out of a breakout, then for some reason, some of them ooze after. And if I put the LED light on, not only does the oozing stop immediately, but the red is gone. So to me, that blue light is just a perfect finishing touch to send somebody out the door, so they don't feel like they look terrible after a problematic skin type facial.
Is the blue that you're using just blue, or does it have blue and red?
It has blue and red in it.
Yeah, so it's the red that's actually doing it. Okay. It's the red. The red is helping probably to reduce that pore size, like very quickly. In the case of you using it, yeah.
Like I said, this modality I've used for years, and I see the benefits of it, but it's still a mystery to me. So I'm going to move on to question number 2, because it's a good one that I know my listeners are going to go, "Oh, I'm so happy Lori asked this." So this is from Jenna. She said, "What is the most," and we've kind of talked about this, "effective amount of time to expose the skin to LED? I've heard anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. Is the light still penetrating when a clear mask is used? And well, this is a lot. Let's just start with what is the proper amount of time, and then we can go back to the other question she asked."
So it depends on the device. Anything, and you need to check with your manufacturer of your device. But anything more than 20 minutes is completely ridiculous, and it really should be. It should be that you could do it somewhere between 10 and say 16 minutes. But 20 minutes is still fine. But yes, it should be. It should be really between 10 and 16 minutes, something like that.
Okay. And that works for an hour
And
long facial, which most
And it should be like 1 inch to 2 inches from the skin, no further away than that, no closer than that either.
okay, good to know. And then, you said earlier it's okay if you even have something opaque on, but these clear masks, it's
On our for our device.
okay.
Yeah. You were going to say something about the clear masks or
Oh,
something?
because there's so many, everybody is using these sheet masks now and they love using them with LED,
Yeah.
but how do we know if that's effective or not? Like, what would we even ask our manufacturer? And how does it work with LightStim where it is effective?
I don't know. Like we have a mask a sheet mask and we have it made in France, and it's unbelievable. And I mean, it's unbelievable. And a lot of manufacturers will tell you to not use anything, just do it on dry skin only. And I just think that they don't have good penetration for somebody to say that, like to not use a skincare product with an LED is like you're just missing the opportunity, a great opportunity if you have a good device.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you got a flexible device, just like you may as well throw it out. You're not doing anything. You're like they're the worst.
Well, you see so many of them at home now that people are using, and it's confusing because the ones you Velcro around your head, who knows,
Oh God.
right? Like you can go on Amazon and get one for $30, or you can go online and get one for 1,000. It's just a really confusing market space for a consumer.
Yeah, that's why I've been doing a lot of podcasts. Is I've been trying to clear it up and give it a little education.
So you've been on a podcast circuit, so to speak.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I want to learn a little bit about your company. So I know that you shared some of this stuff with me, and I'm excited to ask you some questions now. So what sparked the creation of LightStim? And like, what is your vision of LED? Like, who was your vision when you first sparked it? Was it for doctors? Was it for estheticians? Where did you want to step into the market space?
Well, we really aimed at, and until recently haven't changed. We really aimed at the professional industry, and we probably have. I mean, we probably command 75 to 80% of the professional industry. We sell to 50,000 spas, med spas, doctors' offices, wellness clinics. We have 1 million consumers that do use our handheld devices. So we do retail, and we got another 20,000 locations that are franchise locations. So it really has been all about the professional, and then we've taken what we've learned there and applied it to devices for the consumer without dumbing it down. The exact same wavelengths, the exact same energy output, everything, just packaged for the consumer. Like an esthetician can't stand there with a handheld and go like, for 3 minutes here, 3 minutes there. They need to get it done, and they need to be useful. I mean, anybody could just stand there holding a light, right? And so that's a great device for the consumer, but not good for an esthetician. An esthetician needs something like our Ellipsa, that is a fixed curve that sits over the face, or if you have like a med spa, you're a real professional spa, you need something like our Pro Panel. That has 4 separate individual panels that you could form right to the face. And yeah.
So I know it's funny because reading through your notes, my current skincare line was brought to the US by the wife. she was so obsessed with it, her and her husband started the distribution. And you said your creation of LightStim, your wife found the people that helped with the innovation of it.
Yeah, so the two inventors, when they discovered this technology, they had a really small little company that were operating out of a garage, and a girlfriend of my wife said, "Hey, I just tried this LED light. It actually made my skin much better. You should try it." And she got my wife one. My wife's name is Joni. She got Joni one, and so Joni started using it, and within 2 to 3 weeks, her demeanor changed. And what I mean by that is, like, when she would get up in the morning, every morning, she'd look in the mirror and she would be like critical of herself. She'd be like, something there, and that bothers me there. And this is not a great way for your wife to start the day. Not a great way for the husband. No, it's not great for anybody. You know, and when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right?
Exactly. Happy wife, happy life.
That's right. And so after about 2 to 3 weeks, that changed, and she started going, maybe that looks a little bit better. Maybe this little spot here looks slightly better. And after about 3 months, not only were the wrinkles starting to reduce in size, but she started tightening up along her jowl a little bit. And so she sent before and after pictures and a thank you note to the company, which the company was like these two guys working out of a garage at the time. She didn't know that. And they wrote her back and said, "Hey, you know, you're nice looking. You're the right age. Would you be our spokesperson?" And she goes, "Sure. We're kind of in between businesses right now, so why not?" And so they came over to do a video of her, because those were the days when you sent a disc, a CD disc with any device you bought for the instructions, right? And they were shooting her in our living room, and I was in an office that I had with the inventor, and he's telling me about the business, and he's like, I'm like, "Do you realize that you're bankrupt, and you seem to have bankrupt everybody around you?" and so I actually cut a deal with him right there to buy the company and pay off all the debts, and we did. And we started with that one device, and we just, we kept building it, and we made an acne device, and we had a rosacea device for a while, actually. But we couldn't get FDA clearance, so we dropped it. And then we started with the panels for the face after that.
Just a quick message, and then we're jumping right back into the episode. Many of you know this already, but I've been looking for a new assistant manager, one that supports my esthetician life and my treatment room life. And today, I get to share something that genuinely lights me up. I found my new treatment room assistant manager, and it's going to surprise you when you find out who I chose to support me while I'm working on clients. It's a new to me all-in-one platform for scheduling, payments, marketing, and much more. And it really feels like it was made for small business estheticians. It's called Gloss Genius, and I'm officially obsessed. First, it's designed to help build an aesthetics brand. You know, I believe in support that feels elevated and luxurious because this helps us stand out. And Gloss Genius nails this. Second, it's actually really easy to use for you and for your clients. No clunky menus, no confusion, no where do I click next? None of these moments. Clients don't have complicated logins just to book an appointment. It's just smooth, smart design that works with ease. Third, every feature purposefully helps your business grow, whether it's rebooking to bring a client back in, or low payment processing rates that help you actually keep more of your money that you earn. This platform never stops looking out for you. And you know how rare that is in our industry? It's so refreshing to see a company who actually understands the margins that beauty businesses have to work with. But here's what really sealed the deal for me. Gloss Genius was founded by two powerhouse sisters who are deeply passionate about helping entrepreneurs thrive. They're committed to innovation, education, and helping our businesses grow. while cutting out the stress that comes along with it. Their whole mission is to help beauty biz owners grow with technology that empowers us instead of overwhelms us. And honestly, you can feel their heart in every feature. And trust me, I get it. Switching platforms can feel intimidating, but Gloss Genius makes the process simple and possible. So if you've been looking for a business software that is gorgeous, client-friendly, and built by people who respect and advocate for beauty and wellness entrepreneurs, this is it. I'm thrilled to welcome Gloss Genius as part of the Beauty Biz Show, and even more excited for you to experience what I've found: a fresh start, a powerful platform to help you grow, and a company that truly gets us. If your business is ready for next level, Gloss Genius is waiting for you. Because when your systems support you, you get to focus on the beauty that you're here to create. So click the link in the show notes or the link in my Instagram bio at Lori_BeautyBiz to learn more and use my code BeautyBizShow to experience your first 2 months of Premier Tier for half off. So I'm curious, how did your wife feel when she was done filming and you told her you bought the company?
Well, she was stoked.
Okay.
She's like, we're going to be in the beauty industry. This is right up my alley.
Awesome. Is she still involved in the company today?
Oh, she's the president of the company. She runs day-to-day operations. If it was up to me, like, we would have never grown. Like, I kind of am the guy that creates big deals, and she has to kind of clean my mess up after the fact. So I've made a lot of deals with large franchises, and we've made a lot of deals with actually, like, most of the upscale, the high-end professional skincare brands we've partnered with, and our education people, along with their education people, have come together and done protocols for using LED light with certain products of theirs. Yeah.
So you said in your bio that you had 500 franchise locations prior to LightStim. Was that in like the restaurant space or?
Oh, no, we were in the automotive industry, and I had sold 155 franchises across the U.S.
What franchise? Can you say what it was? Or
so the reason that all of you out there know what detailing is, without even me saying detailing a car, is because of me. Because I opened the first detail shop in the world in the mid-'80s. Earlier than mid-'80s. In the mid-'80s, we franchised and sold 155 franchises. We had 200 pieces of major media, like front page of the Wall Street Journal, 6 pages in Fortune, Time, People, ABC, NBC, CBS, National News, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, The Today Show. We're in the game, Trivial Pursuit. Like, we just had like tons of media because it was Newport Beach. It was exotic cars, so that's a sexy story. And it was an excuse for editors to leave whatever part of the country they were in and come out and watch this whole operation, you know?
Well, you want to hear something funny? I was probably the wealthiest 10-year-old in all of Vermont because my dad owned a car dealership and I had to wash the cars every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But he paid me well.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I could have been the spokesperson for that growing up. Instead of playing sports, detailing cars every weekend.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the automotive industry if you do it right. So I'm sure you took many of your lessons there into the growth of LightStim. You said you now have franchise LightStim locations?
No. We so there's a legal issue happening in the LED industry, which I can tell you about later, but without going into that, because of it, like, if you take any big franchise, like any franchise that's got like 400 locations or more, is probably worth close to $1 billion, the franchisor. And the ones that are really big, like Massage Envy or Anytime Fitness, something like that, they're worth like billions. And they can't afford to do anything shady. They're going to do everything like right above board, and and everything for the longevity of the company. No quick fixes, no get rich quick schemes, and so they basically in the last 9 months they've all found out about the this legal issue, and they've come to LightStim, and so between about 29 franchises that we've contracted with now that represent somewhere around 15,000 locations, I guess. And we have another 50 that we're currently on some stage of the sales process with. They just like, so we're in like gyms, and we're in with our LED bed or our panels for pain. We're, in massage places, in spa type franchises. And those are all in addition to the 50,000 spas and med spas and doctors' offices that we've worked with for the last 25 years now.
Okay, that what you just said made me come up with two questions. Sometimes I have to make a note because I'm paying attention, listening, but I don't want to forget to ask you something. Number one is, so people listening in here, I have a young esthetician that I mentor, and today I said, do you have any questions? I'm going to be interviewing the founder of LightStim. And she said, I'm so interested in the bed. So let me pick your brain for any entrepreneur that's interested in bringing one of these into their practice. What do you see because it's kind of almost like passive income. You can set somebody in there for 30 minutes. What are people typically charging for something like this? And I know it varies per location and your demographics, but
until 2 years ago, everybody was selling packages of 10 treatments for between $75 and $100 per treatment. Almost nobody's doing that anymore. And they're all doing membership models, because most people are going to want to come in 2 times or more a week to do a treatment, and it's just too expensive, and to pay $75 or $100, for a couple times or more a week. And so almost everybody's put together membership programs with a wide variety of, like, from $89 a month to $1,000 a month, and they're all over the board. For one, you've got different demographics, so that determines what you're going to charge to a degree. But then the nice thing about a membership model is you could go, okay, I'm going to sell my first 10 memberships for this amount, but then I've got my basic nut covered, so I'm moving the amount up from there. Or anybody that wants to come in any time of day that they want, this is going to be their charge, like up here. But if you'll come in on my off hours when I'm slow, I'm only going to charge you this much a month. So you could really just fine tune this thing so that you really have taken advantage of getting the most amount of dollars and having your whole, hours that you're open filled up, simply by, charging a little less money for the times when it's not convenient for most people to come in, that sort of thing.
I can just see this working now with everything digitally and scheduling online too. Like, you just make this a service that somebody signs up for with 15, 20 minutes in between each client, and it kind of runs itself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's once you saw a person, like we did a video for one of the big franchises for, it was like a 1-minute video. You just do a QR code and they just watch it on their phone. It shows them, okay, press this button and then press this button, get your clothes off and get on the bed. It's like, It was like that. It's really simple. So once they've done it one time, that they now know it.
Yeah, like an iPad that you just hit play your first time in there and then you get it. I love this. I like business strategy, especially for small businesses that are looking for means of income like this. And the benefit is, when you own the business, you can go use it yourself too.
Right.
You block your own time off for yourself.
Sold a lot of our LED beds because of that point.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be afraid I'd never get Jay out of my business if I got one, though. I'm like, come on, the consumer has to use it every now and then. I learned the most from personal experience working on clients, but from other estheticians. And I remember an esthetician calling me like maybe 10 years ago. And she said, I think you can overuse LED light. She said, I have arthritis in my hands. So she used the panel at home at night. But she said, when I use it 3 or 4 days in a row, my wrist hurt more. So can you overly stimulate tissue or pain or inflammation? No.
Absolutely not. It was something else was going on with her. I have no idea what, because I've never heard that before, but
Okay.
no, absolutely not. So the typical treatment, although like our bed is so effective, for one, it's the only one that has ever passed the FDA's test for efficacy. No other full body device. So that's tanning beds converted to LED or panels that hang on a wall. That's all full body. Nothing has ever been able to pass the FDA's test for efficacy except our bed. So it's so effective that they approved it for as little as 5 minutes. But almost everybody does, or 5 minutes per side, I should say, if you're going to do full body. So you flip on it. Almost everybody does a 20-minute treatment or a 40-minute treatment. So either 10 minutes on each side of the body or 20 minutes on each side of the body. And now I've forgotten what this started out. Your question was. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's just, does it overly stimulate pain?
Okay.
If you use it too much.
So most people that own a bed themselves are doing 40-minute treatments a day. People that belong to some kind of a spa or a franchise that has a bed on a membership model, they're coming in usually like two to four times a week. Our pro athletes, we have a lot of celebrity level pro athletes that have our bed in their house. When they have an injury or when they have to play like 3 games in a row, like 3 days in a row, they'll do 3 to 4 hours a day on our bed.
Wow.
So it's not like exercise where you can go anaerobic sometimes, it's not like that at all. There are certain things that you're just wasting your time about. Like after 20 minutes, your cells have absorbed all the right wavelengths that they convert to ATP, the fuel source of our cell, that they need for the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay. But there are a lot of other things that are happening in the body at the time that the longer you do, the more benefit there actually is.
Okay, so I have so many questions for you. You seem like a solutions and creative human combined. So people come in all the time and they say, how does this work, Lori? I don't want to tell them how to make a watch. I want to tell them what time it is. So in like 1 or 2 sentences, how can I tell my client how LED works and like to give them a result or as a benefit to them?
So you're going to get its simplest form for me because I'm not our educator and I don't understand things on a tiny little microscopic basis. But basically what LED is doing is you are using only therapeutic wavelengths of light. So no UV, which is damaging to the skin and can actually cause cancer. Okay. So it's only therapeutic wavelengths of light that are affecting a cell in numerous different beneficial ways. So I could give you a couple examples of that.
I'm writing this down.
Okay.
I like it.
So the mitochondria of a cell has the ability to absorb certain wavelengths and convert it to ATP, which most people don't realize or have no idea of. We produce 8 to 10% less ATP every decade we're alive after 20 years old.
Which ATP is the energy source of our cell, right?
It is. So if you run that out and go, if you just look at not many people live to be beyond 100, if you just take out disease, why do they still not live to be much over 100? Well, that's 8 decades past 20. 8 decades times an average of 9% per decade less that they're producing is 72. So that means they have 28% of a full tank of gas in their cells at 100 years old. And it's just not enough to properly operate all of your your organs, basically. So they end up dying a natural death, like not enough energy being produced by their cells to run all the body functions. So you've got that going on. You've got if you've got everything right, the LED has the ability to release trapped nitric oxide. What's that? Well, nitric oxide is a signaling molecule in the body, and clinical studies have proven when you have a lot of it available, and I say available because a lot of it is trapped in your cells and not available. When you have a lot of it available, it's been proven that it reduces heart attacks, it reduces strokes, it increases blood flow to the brain, it builds the immune system. For athletes, it gives them more strength, more stamina, and a faster recovery time. And last but not least, it lowers high blood pressure, which is the reason that we built the bed in the first place, was because our son had dangerously high blood pressure, had been to every kind of doctor you could imagine, and nobody could ever find out why he had this high blood pressure, and nothing brought it down, not drugs, not Chinese medicine, not integrative medicine, nothing brought it down. And we didn't even know about nitric oxide at the time. We just it was our Hail Mary. We just thought we'll build a full body device and he can lay on it every day and maybe that'll help him. And which is basically what happened in the shortened version. And his blood pressure it was like as high as 215 over 165. And after
that's high.
Oh yeah. They told us that he could have a stroke and die. And after laying on the first bed we made for 8 weeks, his blood pressure was 130 over 80. And that was when we went, wow, maybe we should make this thing, which led me to go to the FDA first, because everything we have is FDA cleared. And just so everybody knows, the FDA approves drugs and they clear devices, but the definition of cleared and approved is the same. It's safety and efficacy testing. And every product we have has been through the FDA for safety and efficacy testing. And so when we thought, that this bed could help a lot of people, maybe we should build one. The first thing I did was go to the FDA and said, hey, we want to build an LED bed and get it approved. And I was actually talking to the assistant director of the FDA, because we had built a good relationship with the FDA because we were dotting our I's and crossing our T's. We didn't do any funny business. He goes, Steve, I'm going to do you a big favor. He goes, don't bother developing an LED bed, and definitely don't write the FDA a check, because you're never going to get it approved because they don't work. And I went, what? What do you mean? He goes, they don't work. He goes, they're all just lighting up the skin, these full body devices. And he goes, they're getting no penetration. And I didn't really know all the ramifications of what he had said at the time, but now I know that if you're just lighting up the skin in a 1-inch square area, you're treating 19 million cells, all of whose job is the skin, not like something super vital. Okay, this is aesthetics we're talking about.
Right.
If you could go down, also get penetration 3/4 of an inch to an inch down in that 1-inch square, now instead of 19 million, you're treating 400 to 600 million cells that have a huge variety of jobs in the body. And that's the whole difference there. So anyway, I asked, why aren't they getting penetration? Like, this whole thing of penetration was like new to my whole thought process, because we're treating the skin. We're basically just a beauty company, aesthetic company. And basically my question of why turned into a 6-year conversation with us trying to pass the FDA's tests for efficacy and a few other things, and developing solutions to these barriers to efficacy that they saw. So basically there were 3 things that were the barriers to efficacy that we had to settle. The first thing was distance. Light, or not everybody, but most people know that light loses its power exponentially as you leave the tip of the bulb. We had no idea that if you were further away than 3/4 of an inch, there's no possibility with LED of getting penetration, like deep penetration, none. And that was the only reason that we made a one-sided bed with no top. And we made it so you're only 1/4 inch off the tip of the LED bulb, because there's no way to build a top that's going to fit every body. And I've seen people try to do it with V contours and stuff like that. No way is going to fit every part of the body, and to within that close. And then the next thing we learned, like, we knew also to get penetration, we were going to have to use custom LEDs that are emitting light at somewhere between like this, like 15 to 45 or 50 degrees. And if we went wider than that, it lost its intensity so quickly that it was not penetrating again at all. And so we used the right LEDs, and we built more prototypes, many prototypes during the 6 years of developing the bed. But what we had no idea and we ran into was, like, we were still getting no penetration, because when this hit the acrylic that you lay on that divides your body from actually touching the LEDs themselves, it was going like this. It was dispersing out to 180 degrees and getting no penetration. Yeah. So the first thing we did was we bought every device on the market, made by everybody, and everybody's acrylic had this problem, which, like, kind of a light bulb went on for me. It was like, this is another reason that we grew in the professional market so fast, because we're the only company in the world who handheld devices and face panels had no acrylic over them at all. Matter of fact,
on the cover, I'm holding mine up now.
Those are LEDs. There's no cover.
Oh, because it feels like plastic, but that's just the bulb.
That's the bulb. The FDA's instructions say to touch that right to your cheek.
Got
gently,
it.
Gently.
Okay.
And so we find out everybody's got this problem. Their lights all being dispersed. So we start working with 4 of the largest manufacturers of acrylics in the US. 2 years we worked with them before one of them finally came up with a product that allowed our light to go through it without being dispersed, to penetrate through it without being dispersed. So now we had solved the second of 3 problems to efficacy. The third problem is the FDA's test for efficacy is to raise the tissue temperature to this certain range, this temperature range. And I would just call this range something that you would consider to be soothing, gentle, relaxing warmth that you love, basically. But nobody had ever been able to pass this test, and on the whole body. Easy to pass it with a handheld. You just hold it in one little area and you just hold it there till you get that temperature, and then you try to keep it at that temperature. But for the whole body, you've got this torso that has a whole bunch of mass to it, which absorbs heat and holds heat really easily. But then you've got your arms and legs that are like small percentage of the mass that your torso has, yet your arms and legs are between 58 and 68% of your total body mass. So any full body device, nobody had ever passed the test, basically. This is going to heat up much differently than the arms and legs. They're going to take more heat. Plus, they're going to dissipate the heat almost as fast as you give it to them. And so this actually took us the better part of the 6 years to solve. And my son came up with the idea of, instead of having a sheet of LEDs, let's break it up into 30 separate little modules. So each module being maybe 6 or 7 inches wide and maybe 10 or 12 inches tall, and that were underneath this special acrylic. And in each module, we developed a sensor. And all this stuff's made in our factory in Irvine, California. We buy most of our parts within blocks of us, because Irvine is the largest conglomeration of medical device manufacturing in the whole country. And so we've got a lot of stuff available around that we could buy close by, and we try to do that by US. Anyway, so we developed a sensor that was in the center of each one of these 30 modules that kind of sectioned off your body in different parts of your body. So you could lay on a bed in our bed, and didn't matter what you did with your hands and legs. You could splay them out and be comfortable. You could put them together close. You could do whatever you want. You could move. It didn't matter because the sensors worked on a millisecond by millisecond basis. So in 1 millisecond, they determined what temperature that one module has to be for the body part that's touching it, and what the temperature of that body part is, and what it's going to take to bring that body part up to this range that the FDA makes you have to be in to pass this test, because that's where the most benefits occur. And so this is happening everywhere in the whole body. A computer program's running all 30 modules, and we patented that. And still nobody's ever passed that test for efficacy. So if you're buying something for full body, a panel that hangs on a wall, a tanning bed that's been converted to LED, a stand-up tanning bed with red tubes in it, a sauna with a red light panel in it, like, it's not really doing anything that you're looking for LED, or that red light therapy should be doing. It's too far away. It doesn't have the ability to penetrate. It doesn't have the ability to bring your whole body up into this particular temperature range. This is like everybody's finding out about this now.
So that's one of the things you said you wanted to touch on. I can tell talking to you, you are somebody who follows the rules and does things the right way. I respect that. And you had said that you just want to get this messaging out to the consumer. So this is your chance to share that information here on the Beauty Biz Show.
Well, I'm just saying that if you're using full body, of any type, and or you're looking to buy a full body treatment of some type in LED, our product is the only one that's ever been able to pass the FDA's test for efficacy.
I was thinking, I made notes here on some of the things you said that I'll take away as an esthetician using light therapy in my treatment room. And it can, in many different ways, be beneficial and positive to longevity.
Yeah.
Using it. And I never thought of it that way before. Another thing that I love about it that you were saying is the therapeutic wavelengths. And I don't think anyone talks about therapeutic enough in the crazy world that we live in right now. I always say that I put an LED panel on a client, and it's like putting a blanket on a parrot. They fall asleep for 20 minutes. It feels so good. And that in itself is anti-aging, right? Just getting somebody to relax and remove the stress from their life.
For sure.
Well, I always have a closing question, but before, how can people find out more about LightStim? What's your website address, or do you have social media where you'd like people to head over and give you a follow?
We do. It's all under the name LightStim, and the website is very good for any of our products, with the exception of the bed. If you have any interest in full body, call into the office. You will have one of the 5 girls that work under me, because that's pretty much all I do is franchises and the LED bed. And they've all been with me for many, many years, and we'll be able to answer all your questions.
And you offer wholesale. Most of my people would be interested in wholesale, my listeners. So
I'd like to tell them one other thing when they're looking at devices.
Sure.
So I kind of hit on how important being able to penetrate the skin is. So when you see somebody bragging about how much energy their device puts out and how theirs is the most powerful, like there's so many most powerful, like I'm like, wow, how does that happen? But know that they don't know anything about LED, and that or if they do, they're purposely trying to dupe you, because it's not all about the energy level, it's about penetration. So I'd much rather have, like, if you use, like, let's say if it was by milliwatts. So instead of having 100 milliwatts that we're only treating the 19 million cells in 1 inch square on my skin, I would much rather only have 20 milliwatts treating, these 400 to 600 million cells that are like down 3/4 of an inch into my skin, that have a wide variety of jobs. So it's all about, really about penetration with LED is super, super important.
Okay, so as a consumer, how do I know the level of penetration when I'm looking for because some people already have one, but maybe they're going to change their mind and want yours now, but how do they know how to compare?
You're probably not. I mean, in a dark room, you should be able to, like, put it on your wrist and still see it come through the other side.
All the way through the other side, or just kind of through the skin?
Well, if I put it here, in a blacked out room, I would expect to see it, like, right here. Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
That's actually helpful, because I'm going to test all my panels now when we get off the podcast today. So I have my closing question that I always ask everyone I have on the show. And that is, to wrap up, what are 2 success tips you'd share with a beauty entrepreneur who wants to build a loyal, long-term clientele?
Wow, that's interesting. When your clients use a good panel, like when you use a good panel on your clients, like 2 or 3 times, that when they come in, even if you don't charge them those 2 or 3 times, they pretty much will never get another facial of any type without having LED. And you should be charging extra for it. Most of our clients charge somewhere between $35 and $125, depending, like New York City kind of thing, or Beverly Hills, for add-on to a facial. So I think that would help to create some loyalty, because they're going to love the results that they get. But short of that, short of LED in general, I think kind of like how we run our family business is, like, give the client a little extra, and show them that you really care. And I think that that's more important than anything, and you'll develop lifelong friends as much as clients with it. Yeah.
That's good advice. I like that too. I always say, take it beyond the transaction. Just when that doesn't mean the relationship stops growing there. Reach out and build friendships and real connection. So I love that.
Sure.
Well, thank you for being on the show today. Is it just LightStim, STIM.com website?
Yeah.
And thank you again for my handheld. Like I said, this has been like 10 years and I use it all the time. So
I know. I tell people, when you buy one of those, our lights, like, you're going to be able to hand it down to your grandchildren's grandchildren. Like,
that's no joke. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And all the information you shared today. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Beauty Biz Show. I hope the episode has left you feeling inspired to build the beauty biz of your dreams. As always, we appreciate your kind reviews, as it helps us attract amazing guests to be interviewed. Also, be sure to give me a follow on Instagram at Lori_BeautyBiz and SpaStar_Lux. If you'd like to know more about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com, where we are busy helping estheticians create outrageously abundant careers.